And that leads us to our dedication for this episode 111, because the match that most experts say is the greatest in the history of the sport of tennis occurred at Wimbledon in the men's final this week, not that long ago, back in 2008. The combatants were two of the greatest in the sport's history, of course, Federer and Nadal, and just a little bit of setup to the 2008 epic Wimbledon final. So the prior year, 2007, had a final matchup that saw the same two greats squaring off against one another, and that match prior to the 2008 epic was considered one of the best finals in the history of tennis before the 2008 matchup occurred. And Roger Federer won in 2007 in 5 sets over Nadal. But their 2008 rematch, that was even better. Like most special events, a group of key factors coalesced to create something unique. First, Nadal and Federer had already developed a must-see rivalry, so everybody wanted to see those two square off. Second, Federer, he was the king of Wimbledon at the time. He won the previous 5 Wimbledon titles in a row, so he was on a run. And then third, as I said, Roger's epic 5-set victory over Rafa Nadal in the 2007 final heightened the anticipation for the meeting they had in 2008. So there was a lot of buzz going into this 2008 finals, to say the least. What transpired was almost 5 hours of classic tennis. It was the longest final in Wimbledon history, and Wimbledon's got a long history. The tally was Nadal winning the first 2 sets, Federer winning the next 2 sets after that in tiebreakers, both of them, and then Nadal taking the decisive 5th set in a tiebreaker 9-7. The match ended up closing and wrapping up at 9:16 p.m. local time in a shroud of darkness. It was basically just about dark by that time. And Federer fought off 2 match points against him in the 4th set, and the match, I think, was twice interrupted by rain. But, despite the rain delays, the intensity never waned. An amazing stat from that final. Think about this. Federer finished the match with 89 winners, and he lost the match. So what did John McEnroe think of the match? He said, "This is the greatest match I've ever seen." And John McEnroe would know, as he was not a stranger to Wimbledon greatness himself. So if you've got time on a flight or on a rainy day, go to YouTube, punch in that final from 2008 outside of London. Just about every other tennis match you'll see after that will pale in comparison. And by the way, are you a Nadal or a Federer type? Those two players, they seem to break people down into distinct categories. Much like dog or cat person or Coke or Pepsi. Remember taste great, less filling? Remember that sort of contrast or breakdown? Personally, I do admire both players, but I have to say I'm more of a Federer fan if I had to pick one of the two.